NewGenGamers.com.
Welcome everybody to another New Gen Gamers Console Wars of the Past here. Today we are taking a look at the Mattel Intellivision, and this is one of their classic games, Astro Smash, available on IntellivisionLives.com.
Yeah, it's pretty much a take on Space Invaders.
Kind of a mix of Space Invaders and Asteroids.
Yeah, so
more Space Doom?
More Space Doom. This was very popular during the late 70s and early 80s. So, get that big white thing. And you just keep shooting stuff as it's falling. The objects will adjust to how you're playing. So it'll speed up if you're doing better, slow down if you're sucking.
As will your score.
Nice. Now, we're losing our color here on and off, so technical issues maybe abound, but most of these games should be good and the system's pretty good. So this is a 25-year-old plus system, so it's a classic.
Yeah, it's gonna reach 30 here rather shortly.
Yeah,
because it was released in 1980. Around late summer, early fall 1980. They don't really have a set release date from what we could find.
One day it just magically appeared on store shelves and lives were changed. And this was definitely one of the premier titles for it, to compete with the space games on the Atari 2600. And we'll look at how this system was really, at all levels, released to try and be better than the Atari 2600, and in a lot of ways succeeded, which there were a lot of competitors at the time, and what Mattel did with this system was pretty impressive.
Yeah, they were one of the true innovators from the early generation.
Oh, you blew
man,
up.
You bit it. Yeah, it was released in 1980, and the VCS had been on the market for about 2 years at this time, and hadn't really shot off into the stratosphere yet, mainly because its big push came about that same year when Space Invaders released. So they were pretty much on equal footing when they started out.
Yeah, they opened up the Mattel Electronics division specifically for video games and specifically for this system, and they put a strong system together.
Yeah, and Mattel's electronics people were, not just toy makers just thrown onto this. These people had actually been working on their handheld games beforehand. And a lot of people, they searched for people within their own company that had, like, engineering backgrounds and, the things of the like. As long as you had the right qualifications, they wanted you to work for that division, because they figured it'd be one of the more profitable ones. Going off enough asteroids there, Duck.
So this is one of those games, and this literally will just go on forever. It'll never end.
Yeah, it's one of those endless games.
I got the auto fire.
And with the difficulty adjusting to how you're playing, instead of in comparison being on a Switch like a lot of the Atari games were, because there was no game select switch on this system. So this game adjusted on the fly, and you can see now it's getting a little more difficult. He's been doing pretty good here, so they're really zinging him down at him now. And you have to get those white things or you will die.
Yeah, they'll wipe out one of your...
They are falling asteroids, I'm gonna say. I don't know.
That's kind of what they look like. Of course, everything else looks like an asteroid, too.
I'm gonna call those giant rocks.
Giant rocks.
Which is different from an asteroid in that
it's not
they're
icy.
Giant rocks. Yeah, they're not icy. Space rocks.
It really does pull you in, doesn't it, though?
It's a fun game. You can keep going, and with the self-adjusting difficulty, you can play to your own level as much as you want. You can pretty much just go back and forth on the bottom there and just try and avoid the ones that hit the bottom.
This game will literally challenge you for hours if you want to put that much time into it.
They actually had national championships for this game at one point, and had people send in their scores to Mattel. The only problem that they had, though, was that you can literally just go forever. So people would play on a very easy difficulty setting and just rack up points for hours and hours and hours at a time.
Yeah, since the game never really ended, you could just push the score up as high as you could go and waste lives as you go.
So that was a problem because they were trying to have a live competition with all the top scorers, which would mean playing in a short amount of time then, so...
Kind of threw the challenge out the window there.
Yeah. Oh!
Well,
and another little bonus item there falling. So that's pretty much it. You just keep going and keep going.
Yeah, it'll definitely just pull you right in there.
Yeah, we're probably going to end this here because he's got 9 lives already. And I believe you can also set another difficulty setting with one of the key buttons on the controller, which we'll get more into the controller. And there's the hyperspace jump. You can kind of jump to the side in a last-ditch effort if you need to get away. Not jump into the asteroids, preferably. Or giant rocks, whichever you prefer.
I thought the spinning thing was a giant rock.
No, that's the asteroid there.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Because it makes the whooshing sound.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess...
I assume that's what it is. I don't know. And as we'll see with this system, too, you kind of have to use your imagination on a lot of these graphics.
Well, a lot of stuff kind of shaped like blocks, bricks, or squiggly dots.
But it was more powerful than the Atari 2600 and gave Atari a real run for their money. So let's move on. Let's move on to another game.
Start. Hello everybody and welcome back to our Console Wars of the Past. We're taking a look at a game that was packed in with the Intellivision whenever it was released in the 1980s. This is Blackjack and Poker. Now I want to talk, we talked a little bit already about the history of the Intellivision. I want to mention that Mattel was founded in 1945. And basically, back then they did a lot of, they began as a picture frame and dollhouse accessory company. By 1977, they had moved on to make LCD games, the first one being Auto Race. And eventually they would go on to make a slew of these titles that were really well received. And there were such titles as Football and even Battlestar Galactica. By 79, they had decided that they were going to pursue this Intellivision adventure. And as you can see, we're having a little bit of trouble right now with the color. For some reason, this game just does not want to be in those glorious colors. It would prefer to be in black and white.
Soon, the John Geyer family will be using their TV to help compute their federal income tax, learn French, improve math skills, and quarterback an NFL team.
Here comes the line of scrimmage.
Introducing Intellivision, the new home video system from Mattel Electronics. 2 components, each sold separately. Start with the master component, available now for super games like NFL football.
To pass.
Go for it, Dad.
Caught it.
And for learning fun from the electric company.
Now this one's a little tougher. I got it.
And when you add the keyboard component available this summer, Intellivision can change your family's life. It simplifies financial planning, even custom designs a Jack LaLanne exercise program for you.
1, 2,
Play it, Briar.
1.
There is an entire library of Intellivision programs designed to grow right along with your family's interests. Discover Intellivision. It can change your family's life.
New Gen Gamers.com